today we're going to be using subtraction with our mixed numbers, and we're going to have to rename some things before we can do that. So hopefully you are ready to pay attention. Let's read, please. Bruce, Chandler, and Chase go bike riding on weekends. On one weekend, Chase rode his bike for 3 hours. Chandler rode her bike for 2 1/4 hours, and Bruce rode his bike for 1 3/4 hours. How much longer did Chandler ride her bike than Bruce did? Now, they gave you a lot of information in here, correct? So let's go ahead and highlight the question. Read it with me. How much longer did Chandler ride her bike than Bruce did? Go ahead and highlight it. So who are we worrying about in this problem? Kennedy? Okay, so Chandler and Bruce are the two people. Now I gave you another person, yes? But is it asking about that person? Okay, so there's some information in here we need and some that we do not. So who can tell me the numbers we do need? Mackenzie? So for Bruce, the 1 3/4 hours. What else? And 2 1/4 for Chandler. So the information that was given to us about Chase and writing for 3 hours, we do not need, so we're going to just use your pencil and cross it off. We're not going to be using that. Okay? So then let's think about this. Which operation am I going to use if it says how much longer did Chandler ride her bike than Bruce? And what operation am I going to use here? Subtraction. You will write that here. And we have already done what it says next. Circle the numbers that you need to use to find a solution. So do you see why we do that anyway? Typically, that's going to help us out. So take a look at the model they have down here for just a second. We're going to find the 2 1/4 minus the 1 3/4. Now, guys, when you write this out, so if I was to write 2 1/4 minus, you're not having to write this, I'm just writing it to show you. Can I take 1/4 minus 3/4? No, it's not possible. So this is where the renaming part comes in. So for right now, we're going to use a model. So we don't have to do this portion, but we are going to learn how to do this in a second. We're going to shade the model to show how long Chandler rode her bike, and then we're going to shade it to show how long Bruce rode his. Okay, so what did Chandler ride her bike for? What was the number we used for her? 2 1/4. So that means we're going to do 2 holes. So we clear to the 1, another hole, clear to the 2, and then another 4. Quickly shade those amount of boxes. Okay, and then what was the number for Bruce?
1.
Good, so we're going to do 1 hole, and then another 3/4 parts. And you can see that you're following right along with the 1 3/4 line. So when we're using subtraction in a model, and you've modeled both of them, you're going to look at what is left or the difference. So what is left over? It does not match up. So it looks like everything here matches up. So what do I have over here in this area? Morgan? 2/4. Does everybody agree with that? Okay, so we're going to write that here because that's what's left when we have done the model. So that means Chandler rode her bike? 2/4. Now, is 2/4 in simplest form? What is 2/4? Or 1/2 hour longer than Bruce did. You can leave the 2/4 here. Let's make sure we put it in simplest form in the final answer here. Okay. So when you make a model, it's easy to see what's left over. Okay. But we're not always going to have the opportunity for yourself to draw a model. And and I want you to take a look at how long that might take you to draw something similar to that. It would take a while on each problem, so we're going to learn another way when we turn the page here. Let's answer a couple of questions before we do that, though. Number one, if you have 1/4 size part, can you take away 3/4 size parts? We kind of already talked about that. So if you have 1/4 size part, can I take away 3/4 size parts? So basically what it's asking is this. If I have this right here, is it possible? No. Okay, could someone tell me why it's not possible? And? Okay, so if I only have 1, I can't take a larger fraction away from that, right? Okay, so no, you can only take away what? 1. Yeah, because there's only 1 there, you can only take away 1/4 size part. So no, you can only take away 1/4 size part. Bless you. Okay, so what if you have 1 whole and 1/4 size part? Can you take away 3/4 size parts? I have 1 whole and 1/4. Can I take away 3/4? Aiden? Okay, can you explain it? Okay, what is a whole and fourths? Okay, so you already have 4/4 just with your whole, plus you have another 4. So you know that 3/4 can be taken away from the whole itself, correct? Okay, so yes, 1 whole is 4/4. So you can take away 3/4. If you turned your 1 whole and 1/4 into fourths as a fraction greater than 1, what would it be? And I would just need to write it 1 and 1/4. How do I turn that into a fraction greater than 1? What did I teach you to do? You're going to have to use this today, Cheyenne. You're not adding anything. How do I change this into a fraction greater than 1? I don't want it in a mixed number anymore. I want it into a fraction greater than 1. Brad, how did we do it? So what's my fraction greater than 1? 5/4. Does everybody remember that? Because you're going to need it today. We took 4 times 1 plus the 1 that's left, and you always put it over the denominator that was there. So you have 5/4, and you only needed what down here? 3/4. Okay, that's another way for you to explain it. I want to make sure that you guys all understand and remember how to do the multiplication and the addition to make it into a fraction greater than 1, because you are going to do that a lot today. So everybody remember that now that Fred gave it to you again. All right, flip the page, please. All right, so we're going to look at some differences with mixed numbers. And as you look at these, hopefully you will notice some things and the reason why we have to rename them. If you're trying to find the difference of 5 and 1/8 minus 3 and 3/8, when you put the 5 and 1/8 on the top, can I take 3/8 away from 1/8? So if I rewrite this, because some of you are looking at me like you don't understand what I'm asking, if I write it like this, like we've been subtracting yesterday, can I take 3/8 away from 1/8? So you have to rename the fraction here in order to be able to do this. So that's what we're going to do here. So we have to rename this 5 and 1/8 as a mixed number with a fraction greater than 1. So you're going to do what Fred just did. Are you with me? Okay. So take a look over here. They want to change this a little bit. They want to take 5 1/8, and they're going to take that apart. Yes. And they're going to put 4 plus 1. Does everybody see that? That means it's taking the 5 and making it 4 plus 1 to still get what? 5, and then the 1/8 over here. You with me? So as I take this apart, what makes 1 in 8ths? 8/8. Yes. Okay. So you have 4 plus the 8/8, which is the same thing as 1, plus the 1/8 that you started with. Does everybody see that? Okay. Now, take a look at what we're going to do here. What do I have with these two right here? What's my fraction? If I add 8/8 plus 1/8, what am I going to get? Chase? Okay, so that's my fraction, 9/8, and I still have how many holes? How many holes do I still have? 4. Now, if I plug this back into over here, is it going to be able to be subtracted now? No. Okay, so that's kind of what they did here. So we're going to put that there. So 5 1/8 was equal to what? 4 9/8. So that's what we're going to use for subtraction. We couldn't use 1/8 minus 3/8, but we can use 9/8 minus 3/8. Yes? So basically what they did with you here is they broke down 5 into 4 plus the 8/8. And why did they use 8s? What was it already in with the fraction? So you have to stay in 8s. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so now we can do our subtraction nice and easily like we did yesterday. So what's 9/8 minus 3/8? 6/8. And 4 holes minus 3 holes. 1. Is this in simplest form? No. Nope. What can I divide both numbers by? 2. So 6 divided by 2 is? And 8 divided by 2? Please remember to move your hole back over here also so that you can just circle the whole thing together. Your answer is 1 3/4. Okay, so basically, just to recap what we did, we know we can't take 1/8 minus 3/8. It's not possible. You only have 1/8, you can't take 3 away. Okay? So we renamed 5 1/8 to this over here. All we did was take our whole number and break it up into 4 plus 1. So we basically took it minus 1, right? But we then had to turn our 1 into 8s, which is what they did in the second step, so that we could get a fraction in 8s. Okay, you're going to have a chance to do some more of those. Just remember what you did, because now we're going to do something a little different. We only had to rename the first one on the top, right? We didn't have to do anything with the bottom, because once we renamed the top, our bottom was okay, right? Well, look at this next one. It says here that we need to rename both mixed numbers. Okay, so let's look at the difference we're looking at. 3 4/12 minus 1 6/12. They want us to rename both of the numbers as fractions greater than 1. Okay, this is the way that Fred just talked to you about here. So how do I get this to be in 12s? What did he just explain to us a few minutes ago? How do I take this and turn it into a fraction greater than 1? Cheyenne, what do you do? You're not doing anything with your numerator right now. How did Fred do this the last time when we were over here and he changed this into 5/4? How am I changing this into 12s? Okay, so what is 12 times 3? 12 times 3.
36.
Thank you. 36 plus 4 is 40. So you're going to have a fraction that is 40/12. And we're going to do the same thing to the next one. So who can talk me through this? Logan?
You multiply 1 times 12.
Okay. And I get? All right, so you have 18/12 in this fraction. So all you're doing now is taking what you just figured, putting it down here, 40/12, 18/12, and subtracting. What do I get?